Jeff Immelt fixed General Electric, now it's up to new CEO Flannery to make money for investors. During a 16-year tenure as CEO of General Electric GE plus 3.47%, Jeffrey Immelt navigated the company through the September 11 terrorist attacks and the 2008 financial crisis, reshaping the industrial giant by exiting businesses ranging from banking to home appliances and refocusing on its engineering strengths in aviation, power, healthcare, and energy. Now Immelt is passing the baton to a new CEO, John Flannery, a longtime company executive who has led GE's healthcare business since 2014. On Monday, GE announced Flannery will be taking the reins of the company from Immelt in August. The move is the culmination of a succession process GE's board began in 2011 and comes at a turning point for the company. Under Immelt, GE pared back its mammoth financial services operations, built up under prior CEO Jack Welch, but which nearly felled the company during the crisis. In 2015, GE spun off its consumer finance arm Synchrony Financial SYF plus 0.66% and sold off its GE Capital assets to buyers ranging from Blackstone to Wells Fargo WFC plus 1.06%. By mid-2016, GE was no longer deemed a systemically important financial institution by the Federal Reserve, a dramatic change from the crisis when it gorged on Fed-backed funds and needed a multi-billion-dollar lifeline from Warren Buffett to survive the storm. Exiting financial services allowed Immelt to reinvest in GE's engineering strengths. He built up a presence in the shale oil and gas drilling market through a flurry of acquisitions and made big bets, including snapping up Alstom's power business. Most recently, Immelt merged the company's oil and gas operations with those of powerhouse Baker Hughes BHI plus 0.38%. He also wisely invested heavily in digital services, weaving data and analytics through the company's entire product line, be it mammogram machines, airplane engines, locomotives, or wind turbines. During Immelt's tenure, GE's aviation sales tripled to $6 billion annually, while its other operations in healthcare, power, and transportation increased 2 to 3-fold. Overall industrial sales at GE rose to $17.4 billion in 2016, up 3 times from 2000 when sales were just $6.1 billion. Exiting financials and returning to its knitting had other benefits. Without capital-burning banking businesses, GE became a better dividend stock, using asset sales to return tens of billions of dollars in cash to investors. The company's financial services exit came with a pledge to return $90 billion in cash to investors, a move that has reignited interest in GE shares. Still early on in this pledge, GE has already become a bigger dividend payer, increasing its quarterly payout to 24 cents. As CEO, Immelt paid a total of $143 billion to shareholders in dividends, more than the company's entire prior history. Jeff has positioned the company incredibly well for the future. He executed a massive portfolio transformation and navigated the company through economic cycles and business disruptions, said GE's lead independent director Jack Brennan, in a press release. The plan for the GE CEO transition process was set in 2011. With the GE Capital pivot behind us and the company's transition to Boston complete, this is the ideal time for change. Immelt's stamp on GE is undeniable, but this progress came with one glaring issue: GE badly lagged broader stock markets under his reign, and the company's stagnant shares have attracted activist investors. Hedge fund Trian Partners took a multi-billion-dollar stake in GE in 2015, around the time its financial services exit was ending, and has kept a close watch on Immelt's performance. Nonetheless, over the past 24 months GE shares have barely budged, a disappointment for those who thought the company's repositioning would lead to a higher stock price. The market, meanwhile, has ripped to new record highs. Now comes a new CEO, John Flannery, who will hope to create the payoff from the Immelt era at GE. Flannery's career at GE is marked by operating turnarounds and stewarding businesses through challenging financial markets, particularly overseas. Flannery began his career at GE Capital and spent the early 1990s in its restructuring and workouts business. By the end of the 1990s, his biggest stamp on the company came in South America, where he oversaw businesses in Argentina and Chile. In 2002, Flannery became CEO of GE Equity just after the dot-com bust. 3 years later, he moved to Asia to head GE Capital's operations in countries like Japan, Korea, and Australia, which all grew significantly in the ensuing years. During the crisis, Flannery headed GE's businesses in India, increasing industrial sales by 50% by 2011. In recent years, Flannery's profile at the company has risen. He was one of the deal makers at the heart of GE's biggest moves, leading the Alstom acquisition and working on divestitures like Synchrony and GE Appliances. After striking those mega deals, Flannery was tapped to lead GE Healthcare in 2014, successfully leading a turnaround of the $3.2 billion in annual sales business unit. John is the right person to lead GE today. He has broad experience across multiple businesses, cycles and geographies. He has a track record of success and led one of our most essential businesses. Most important are his strong leadership traits, good judgment, resilience, a learner, team builder, and a tough-minded individual and competitor, CEO Immelt said of his successor, in a news release. I am privileged to have spent the last 16 years at the company working for Jeff, one of the greatest business leaders of our time, said Flannery of his boss. He has transformed the GE portfolio, globalized the company and created a vision for the GE of the future by positioning the company to lead in digital and additive manufacturing, Flannery added in the press release. On a conference call with investors, Flannery took a tougher tone, stating he would conduct a deep review of GE's business, studying performance with a sense of urgency. He added, "Clearly there's areas we need to improve on. No one's happy with the stock price right now. We know we can do better. For now, investors are welcoming the change." GE stock rose the most in months on Monday morning, gaining nearly 5% in early trading to $29.25.